ICE agents for arresting a daycare teacher in front of children at a Northside Learning Center. Video shows agents pulling the woman from her classroom.
It is wrong that she was taken. It is wrong that our children are living in fear.
Homeland Security says they were trying to detain her after a traffic stop, but her lawyer says she's a legal resident with a pending asylum case. A federal appeals court upheld Home Depot's decision to ban an employee from wearing Black Lives Matter on their uniform, ruling the policy was legal amid workplace tensions. The court agreed with Home Depot that restricting slogans helps maintain a neutral environment for customers. And a Florida man, music producer Jonathan Hay, is suing Sean Diddy Combs for sexual battery, alleging Combs forced him to perform sex acts 4 years ago in California. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
It's Friday, and welcome to the reality check. Gerard Stevens is walking in right now. Y'all, the traffic was crazy out there. As you can hear, he's walking in. Xavier University's homecoming is going on, and it was a struggle to get into the building, but we are here.
Off of I-10.
Oh, my goodness, the traffic was backed up. But I'm happy to see so many people out here participating in homecoming. That's a great thing.
And it looked like that it's still coming.
Yes, it is definitely still coming. So, welcome to the show. I'm happy you could make it.
Thank you so much. I was very happy to hear that they have such a great lineup this weekend, including Yolanda Adams.
Wow.
She's gonna be performing for them on Sunday.
Well, that's great. That's what the alums deserve. That's what homecoming is all about. So I'm happy that she was able to be a part of that and to be here with them.
And then too, I'm glad to see and hope. I'm gonna keep this in my prayers. There's not gonna be no mess. I hope.
Why do you think there's gonna be a mess?
I don't know. It's just the fact that we've seen homecoming, Southern's homecoming.
Yeah.
Mess.
But I have to say this. It's not normally anyone with connection to the university that starts the mess.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bunch of people who are with the community and not necessarily have any affiliation to the HBCU that come on campus and start the problems.
Right.
And I have to say, I am a little concerned because when I did pull up, it took a while to get spaces, right? There are a lot of children on campus, and I mean high school students that I saw when I was pulling up that clearly are not alums of Xavier University.
Yep.
There were a lot of community folk that looked like they were partaking in this homecoming. But, then again, I did see a lot of alums who were here to celebrate their homecoming. Homecoming is supposed to be for the alums.
Right. It's supposed to be about getting back with your old friends.
And it's also supposed to be about giving back. So I hope that every vehicle I see parked on this campus and all around this campus is giving back today and this weekend, because that is what homecoming is really about. And in this particular climate, our HBCUs need all the financial assistance that they can get to stay in operation. And Xavier got hit hard with layoffs this week. So
they had to fire.
Yes.
50 folks.
Yes.
And, as much as we talk about the firing is due to lack of enrollment.
Yes.
They don't have I think the number of student body to support the number of folks that they want to keep, but they had to fire 50. Now they say that's the only number of folks that they're going to let go.
Well, I hope so. I think a lot of HBCUs around the country are feeling that and having to make those difficult choices to keep the quality of education up while having to let go of some of the workforce in order to, meet budgetary constraints. But at the same time, it's just such a difficult time for people to be out of work. And, it's a painful thing to watch a university have to do. But I hope, as I said, that everyone who is here celebrating homecoming understands that one of the major purposes of homecoming is to financially contribute to the organization that helped to make you who you are.
Yep. And if you get a chance, look, just look on Xavier's website. You can probably find out a lot of ways that you can contribute, as well as all the festivities that's happening this weekend. And if you want to participate, you more than likely can. And one of the ways you can participate is buying a ticket to some of the festivities, like the concert. They're giving back to Xavier. So you want to see Yolanda Adams? Go see Yolanda Adams. Buy a ticket and know that your ticket price, probably a portion of that, goes toward the university.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Just get involved. Get Gordon.
Don't you even start with that. Don't make me knock you off this chair on this Friday. Not that WBOK advocates violence.
I'm feeling domestic violence up in here.
Don't start with none of that. Don't start none, won't be none. I just told that to Wick. That's the motto of the
Don't
day.
start none, won't be none.
Exactly.
What did you do?
Oh, Wick didn't do anything.
Oh, okay.
No, Wick didn't do anything. I don't have beef
I had
with
no
Wick.
idea she was here.
Huh?
I had no idea that she was here. When I walked back, because I was back there working in my studio, and when I came up here, I said, "Where'd you get here?" She said,
I'm
I've
always
been
on
here.
time.
and I thought about it. I said, "Oh Lord,
Be early.
Huh?
But early to her is on time.
That's right. That's right. They
And
taught me that when I pledged.
She called me
to
an
be
hour ago.
early is to be on time. To
Yep.
be on time is to be late.
I thought about
Thank
it.
you, Alpha Kappa Alpha, for that lesson.
I'm late.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
somebody been watching Drumline.
But she she called me an hour ago.
I did.
Get your butt to the station. The traffic gonna be terrible.
I knew it. I knew the
That boy was
homecoming
born
traffic
late.
was going to be bad. I'm parked 3 blocks down. Let me tell you, it's a labor of love that I'm here today because I had to take a hike, and I don't really do that. So
But
I took a hike to be here today.
I was happy to see when I came here. Nothing was out of place. Everything was
No furniture
copacetic.
was moved. No
I said,
furniture
okay.
was moved. It was good. It was all good.
I told you what to do. That's an inside joke. I'll tell you about it later. Let's get into the show because we got
Absolutely.
a lot of topics.
A lot to talk about. One of the things, and you may disagree with me on this issue, but one of the things I want to do today is I want to commend council members Helena Moreno, J.P. Morrell, and the budget chair, Joe Giarrusso, who traveled to Baton Rouge and negotiated directly with state leaders. They worked through details. They asked tough questions. They faced tough questions. And most importantly, they knew how to talk to people across the table to reach a deal. They weren't there to perform. They were there to produce results. So I think that in this particular context, we have to recognize that legislative experience did matter in this particular instance because they had built relationships with the people in Baton Rouge that they were sitting across the table to negotiating with. And like it or not, they did save this city from a Landry state takeover while still getting the bag for the city. And I know, look, you can snore all you want, you can sleep on it all you want, but I'm going to give an A+ to them on this particular job because of their credibility with Baton Rouge. They were able to broker an agreement to keep the city afloat. So what does that mean for us? It means $125 million in financing and state approval. This was not a bailout. It wasn't a power grab. It was a deal negotiated, not imposed upon us, which is what they were trying to do. And, it does matter. So I'm going to commend them for that. You may not, but I'm going to commend them for that. Now, what does that mean for us? The deal, the details of the deal, and the devil's always in the details, right? Is that a separate special fund is going to be created. The New Orleans City Council has approved the creation of a special fund to put the $125 million bond money into. The funds are earmarked for a specific purpose. They can only be used for payroll,
Right.
cash flow support, rather than general discretionary spending.
Right.
A legislative auditor will be embedded.
Wagaspack.
Yes, Mike Wagasback in City Hall to monitor the disbursement of the bond and the loan proceeds. And the legislative auditor's permission will be required to draw funds from the special account. If the controls fail, the city cannot stabilize its finances, then the legislative officer can halt funding and trigger potential state fiscal control, right? So we need them to be on top of that.
Pia, get up off the pot.
Yes. The legislation tied to the deal includes monthly reports, breakdowns of payroll, overtime spending, and other metrics. And the council mandated guardrails aimed to enhance transparency. Those reports are going to be available online for all of us to review. The city is committing to cooperate with the legislative auditor. That's a good thing. And under the framework, the state is not stepping in with full fiscal administration over the entirety of the city of New Orleans operations. So I'm going to say A+, job well done on this particular issue.
Okay. I'm going to let you have that one.
Let me have this. Look, it was a big deal. The last thing I wanted to see as a New Orleanian is Jeff Landry controlling the city of New Orleans. So if we were able to get the bag, but stop him from gaining control of our city, I think that's a good negotiation, and I have to credit them for that. Now, you want me to tell you what to watch because you seem to be speechless.
I'm not speechless. I really am not. I'm holding it.
I'm going to tell you what we need to watch.
Okay.
Because, I'm a stay a watchdog, right? So how deep will the legislative auditor's control reach? Does it only cover the special fund and disbursement, or will it extend to the city's broader budgeting issues? And during the oversight, will the legislative auditor's oversight remain long-term until the city seems to demonstrate financial health, which
And that's
could
what
take
I
a
was
while.
asking. How long?
Right, and we don't know that yet, so we're going to watch that, okay? We're also going to pay attention to the effectiveness of the controls. The system relies on the legislative auditor having timely, accurate data, which has to come out of City Hall. And right now, that data has to come under the current administration, not the
Future.
incoming administration.
So with that being said, this is what I was trying to hold. So let me add to this. You're gonna remember this too, but for those of you that are just listening, remember what was talked about by these city council folks that were pushing software on every department so they could have control of and be able to look at and see who's spending what. That system, brass. The brass system was supposed to be that control agent that would never get us in this situation that we're in right now. And it was pushed by Gilbert Montano, as well as J.P. Morrell, and all the rest of them. Everybody wanted every department, every system on the brass system. And it does not do what it's supposed to do, to show you what money is being spent, how to make sure your budget stays in control. And the reason I'm saying that it doesn't do it is because of the fact that we're here now.
We
From
went
the
off the rails.
people that supposedly had spent all this money to get brass, and brass, I mean, can kiss my, you know what? It
Right,
rhymes with
right,
it.
right. I get it. And look, that's a great issue that you raise. If brass is not effective
Why
for
are we
helping
using it?
us to keep the guardrails on,
Why
then
are we
need,
using it?
right, we need to get rid of brass,
Right.
and we need to figure out something else. And if brass has the potential to have an override feature, then we need to get rid of that feature. We need to disable that feature.
I'm looking for a system that if we're going to spend the money, that automatically, okay, spend that money, and when brass calculates it, it has a minus of what it's taking it out for. So we know where not to go. So if I need to be the person that's looking to see what's being spent, I can immediately go to my computer and see what's being spent, how much money we got left over, what's the deficit, what's the plus, was anything put in that system or on that deficit line? What was it? And we don't have that.
We have a question online as to what does brass stand for. So let me explain brass a little bit. The system BRASS used by the City of New Orleans is an acronym standing for Budget, Requisition, and Accounting Services System. It is the city's core financial infrastructure. It's used for procurement, purchase orders, contracts, invoices, and payments.
It's their go-to software that everybody is supposed to have, every department uses, or they want every department to use it so that they can keep all the departments in check financially.
And it replaced a legacy paper-based supplier payment process which was not working, right? So it allows for requisitions, budgeting, tracking of purchases and payments, and it offers an audit trail for oversight purposes, which is what you're talking about, Gerard.
Mhm.
It should have been able to alert them or trigger to them that there was a problem with
Your
budgeting.
screen should have been just blinking red.
Right. It's intended to improve transparency, accountability, and efficiency in how city government funds are spent. So, clearly something is not right with
They
the
don't pay
brass
attention.
system.
They don't pay attention to it.
Right.
But yet, when we get into an issue, that's what's being talked about. And the only reason I know this is because of the fact that that's what they put the sheriff through.
Right.
The same system. Even though what she did, basically, she has a financial person in that office on the third floor. Her job is to make sure that they don't go over budget, to make sure that all of the receipts are there, everything. And then she makes a final report and supplies it to them every month.
But I think that's part of the problem. My understanding is that while many departments of the city use brass, there are still some entities in the city, like the sheriff's office, that do not use the brass system.
Because they would have to wait so long for purchasing.
Right. But the problem is, if we're all not on the same system and all the information is not going to an integrated place and it's not being audited in the same way, that's how you end up with all these budgetary problems. You don't think so? I think
Because
so.
everybody else is on brass.
Not everybody. I think there's still
there's
some
two
city
that-
entities that are not on brass.
Sheriff's Department, Police Department. That's it.
Well, and look where a lot of the major overtime problems came from, the police department.
And that was the whatchamacallit who okayed it, Montano.
I understand that, but there seems to be a problem with checks and balances. Okay, somebody's got to be over the budgetary issues. Somebody has to be checking brass. Somebody has to be in charge
Right.
of monitoring and making sure that people are not overriding the system or ignoring the system. So this is an issue. We raised it. They need to deal with
let's
it.
take the Sheriff's Department and the Police Department out of this whole system. $45 million, right?
Right.
Okay, we over 160.
We're still over. Right.
So we even take away the 45, we still got what, 115 that we are looking at, 115, 120 million? Where the rest of it? So they own brass, okay? So if we just took away those entities that we want to say that aren't on brass, we still got over $100 million worth of debt that we're over, and everybody's still wondering where'd the money go.
Oh, we're all still wondering where the money went. And I
Mhm.
think that now, with the legislative auditor coming in and them poring over all the financials, they're not going to have a choice but to expose where the money went.
I'll say this too to Mr. Waggispack, because I did get a chance to meet him and talk to him. Mr. Waggispack, and I hope you take this in the way that I'm saying it instead of the way that it sounds. If you are a legislative auditor, we're looking for audits. I'm not looking to see what type of money is left into it. I want a full audit.
Right.
And we didn't get that.
Right.
And Waggispack is a great friend of her land.
I understand that they are friendly. I do understand that. And I think that helps. Okay, look, I understand the importance of relationships in business and in politics.
Right.
It's important to me to have good relationships to operate my business. So I'm happy and thankful for good relationships today.
All right, we'll go to a break here. We'll come back with more in just a minute, y'all.
Hey y'all, make sure you tune in on Thursdays at 12:30 p.m. for the Ruba Chef Bunny, sponsored by Blue Plate Mayonnaise on WBOK 12:30 a.m.
Cindy Wynn isn't just a leader. She's our neighbor, a mom, a hard worker, and someone who cares about every family in our community. On Election Day, vote number 55, Cindy Wynn District E.
I'm Cindy Wynn, and I approve this message.
Are you passionate about community safety and police accountability? Tune in to The Monitor's Mic, where we talk about oversight, policing, and you. Hosted by the Office of Independent Police Monitor. We're here to shine a light on policing issues that matter, from real-time policing updates to in-depth interviews. Get the facts and stay informed. We're breaking down complex issues, highlighting community voices, and holding people behind the badge accountable. Join us for an informative hour every Friday at noon on WBOK. Your city, your police, your show. The Monitor's Mic.
You've got responsibilities, but that doesn't mean your dreams are on hold. At Southern University at New Orleans, our evening and weekend college is designed with your life in mind. Finish your degree, start a new one, on your time, your degree, your schedule, no excuses, just opportunity. Visit suno.edu and make your next move today.
It's that time again, New Orleans. First Fridays is back. Join the New Orleans Regional Chamber of Commerce every first Friday of every month, where business, culture, and community come together. Come network, unwind, and connect with local professionals and entrepreneurs making moves across the city. Friday, November 7th, join us at Justini's, 3162 Dauphine Street from 5 to 7. See you there.
A message from the Greater New Orleans East Business Alliance. New Orleans East is primed for economic development and growth. The East has an abundance of commercial space and vacant land available. The opportunity for development is endless. Come be a part of the economic rebuild. For more information, please give us a call at 504-957-3568. That's 504-957-3568. Building a strong New Orleans East makes a stronger New Orleans.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM. Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. Ooh, yes, indeed. It's going to get hot today.
It's going to get hot today, but you know what? I'm a big girl. I'm happy to handle the questions, but I'm going to say it again. Relationships matter. And cooler heads have to prevail, and you have to be the adult in the room. So, all I can say is they made legislative relationships when they were in the legislature. JP was in the legislature, and so was Helena. And those relationships paid off in this particular instance in working with Baton Rouge. You can't deny that. Relationships do matter. I mean, I maintain good relationships with every judge that I have to practice in front of because relationships matter. So, I'm very pleased with the outcome of this issue. Now, I will say this. This bond deal is a high-stakes gamble. The city acknowledges immediate fiscal distress, but it is choosing to increase our debt in order to plug this hole.
So yesterday we had a conversation with Andrenica Morris, who is the head of Housing Now. And one of the things that we know with the vote that took place last year is the fact that we have all agreed as a city that 2% of what our budget is goes toward housing, 2%. And whatever monies is going to come into the city, we're actually looking at it now and saying, okay, we don't know if the full bond money is going to come. We don't know. We're going to have to take what they give us. So we might be requesting 125, but get 100.
Right. And I also heard that we are likely going to have to request more additional money.
Right.
So that means we need to be a very good steward of whatever they send us.
But our
so
general
that we can
fund
request
has
more.
been like the black hole forever and a day.
Right. We know why, right?
Why? I can't hear you. What you said?
We know why.
Why?
The money is going missing. Same thing happens in a lot of businesses. Money goes out the back door and money goes missing. So I sure hope that, the guardrails are on, and now we're going to start being a better steward of our money. And I got to tell you, all eyes are on them, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think they have a choice but to figure out where the money went, figure out what the loophole is, what the loose end is, where the leak is, how did the money get out, and fix that problem. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, we're going to be under state control.
Yeah.
And we want to avoid that at all costs. Now, somebody asked online, does the budget adopted by the city council have the force of law? Here's the answer. Yes, a city budget can have the force of law, but whether it does and to what extent depends on how the budget is adopted and local or state law.
And when do you mean the force of law? What do you mean?
In many jurisdictions, the city or municipal budget is adopted by an ordinance, which itself is a legislative act of the city council or the governing body.
Right.
So, for example, I'm just going to pull this out, just to give you an idea. In some states, when the budget is passed by ordinance, it has the full force and effect of law within the local government's boundaries, provided that it does not conflict with another state statute or constitutional provision. So when the city council ratifies the budget and passes an ordinance adopting the budget, then the budget does have the full force and effect of law. But just because a budget is adopted doesn't mean every line item in the budget has the same enforceability as a statute. Some budgets are more detailed management tools.
But this is
others
general.
are more of a high level. That's in general.
That's why they call it the general
yes,
fund.
a budget can have the force of law, to answer the question in a short form.
All right, let's take some of these calls. Folks holding on. Cedric.
Hello.
What you say?
Hello, happy Friday to the both of you all and to our listening audience. I would still like to caution everybody. I understand we're at this point and we have to move forward, but I don't see how we can realistically move forward when these folk are still not taking accountability as to them being the check and balance of city government. That they're. I hope we're not being duped again. And that's all I got to say, because it's just sad. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. And I'm sorry, Counselor.
I know, I agree with you. I think it is sad. I think you're right on in your assessment of the situation.
But I do think, said that being in the business and knowing the politics of it, at some point in time, I would like to hear this city council or the mayor or whoever who is saying, and maybe a little bit of everybody, take responsibility, because no one has said, hey, look, I take responsibility, or we take responsibility as the fiduciary persons that's supposed to be able to look over everything here. I have not heard that once. I heard a lot of finger pointing, but I haven't heard that once.
And another concern that I have, I saw where the three of them, Mr. Giarrusso, the mayor-elect, and the city council at large-elect, I saw where they went. I'm sure that they finally are listening to Councilman Thomas with all of his budgetary experience. I wonder why he wasn't with them. If you're truly about the city of New Orleans, now it is truly the time to put all the BS and differences aside.
Yeah.
And I hope it's just not a facade. And y'all have a great weekend.
All right, Sid. All right, so let's go to T-Bone. T-Bone.
Good evening. How y'all doing?
Good, brother. What's going on?
Thanks for putting my call through, Wick. Happy Friday to y'all, first of all. Also, I would be remiss if I didn't mention this. Rest in peace. Rest with God. Veronica Downs Dorsey. We will surely miss you at Peter Claver, ma'am. I sang with her for about 3 to 5 years in the choir. And the last time I sang, ironically, was for the homegoing service we did for Father Michael. So we're going to miss you, Miss Downs. Rest in peace.
All right, what you got?
Now, Pop's got his own thing. I guess it's going to be my thing because I keep saying it. Why are you surprised? I'm not. That budget is a big issue all of a sudden. That this city government has misappropriated, misspent, don't know where the money went out the back door for years. See, politicians like to put a spotlight on somebody else when they can point fingers and it's somebody else's fault, and then they step up and say, I can be the new leader. But like you said, G, they should take responsibility because they are involved. But you're not going to see that. Why? They ain't those kind of leaders. You're not going to hear that. OT is not going to be in that discussion because, unfortunately, brother, this is just the harsh truth. He didn't get reelected back on that council. So once the new session comes in, he's not going to have a say. And that's unfortunate because I thought that OT deserved the chance. I voted for him. I voted for him to get back on the council, and I voted for him to become mayor. But lo and behold, though, all of a sudden there's cooperation with Baton Rouge. If OT had won that, do you think that the governor would have been cool? Nah, I don't think so. I mean, I'm so tired of the bass-ackwaysness of this city, of the people that have ran this city. I'm so tired of it. I just got off the phone not long ago with a school administrator over the progress of my son, who is about to be kind of pushed out of school with his disability because they probably ain't going to do much else for him in the coming years. I'm so sick and tired of being sick and tired, y'all. I really am. I mean, I don't see any improvement coming. I see this city, and this is my bold prediction, I see this city still being in debt another year after this. I see this bond being an issue again in another couple of years. And I see Helena Moreno not taking responsibility. I see J.P. Morale not taking responsibility when that is announced. I'm not surprised, and I won't be again.
Well, I guess the question that I would have, and maybe I just didn't hear it, we haven't heard the full details of this, have we? The full details of how this is going to be paid back, as far as the money is concerned. What's the percentages? Is this like a mortgage? Is this 30 years? How long do we have till we got to pay this stuff back?
I think that Joe Giarrusso was supposed to introduce some type of ordinance that sets forth the details this week, this coming week.
Mm-hmm.
I have not seen it yet. I know they'll be meeting weekly, is my understanding, to nail this down. But, this deal may buy the city some time, but it also locks it into repaying the debt and adhering to oversight. So what you just said is very important.
And don't forget, we are 90 days into another fiscal year.
Yep.
And
so that means more debt coming.
And we don't have the money. We're talking about paying the city employees their money, but we're forgetting that we've got some of the biggest parts of the year coming up right now.
Oh, yeah, we're right around the corner.
We got Bayou Classic,
and then we have
Sugar
Mardi Gras
Bowl,
on the heels of that.
All that stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
All that stuff.
So my
question:
how
much money is going to get put on those things?
Right, but my question is, where's the money going to come from that's going to support those? And whoever was doing the predictions to put us in the position that we're in right now, I don't want that person to predict it. I'm going to ask Cary Grant when he walk in the door next week. Can you give me an idea of how much money we're going to need for this? Because he got it when he was sitting in City Hall. He got it to the point where he was either 1% over or 1% below. That's it.
But here's the thing, though. He can balance the books all he wants. He can balance that sheet, and then once he then balanced the sheet, them same politicians who mishandle stuff after he had did it before.
No. Because now you have that oversight.
Right. Now you have weekly oversight.
Right.
Okay. Not monthly, not annually, not biannually. Weekly oversight of this budget. I don't know that you're going to have much room to, let money walk out the back door.
Ain't no wiggle room
with weekly oversight.
Ain't going to be no wiggle room.
No, we're in a different situation right now. So, we do have an infusion of funds to actually stabilize the city's finances, we hope. I'm very thankful that the city workers are going to get paid. That's very important because that impacts so many families here in the city of New Orleans. But
what else? But here's my question to both of y'all, because you've been talking about the budget all week, G, and Ms. Bagnaris, counselor, you're a pretty smart lady. You're pretty astute. Maybe y'all can answer this question for me because I didn't finish in accounting. I didn't finish in finance like my son did from LSU. But I'm going to ask this question anyway. What else are we going to do besides the usual suspects to cut to that deficit? Because guess what? We all know, the tourism and hospitality dollars aren't enough. They've never been enough. Are we going to do something to attract big business into the city and then tax those businesses? Are we going to do something else that's going to bring more commerce to the city? Because this same city council got mad with the mayor because she was going to go drum up business for the city. And then they said, oh, well, she shouldn't have had people first class or this, that, and the other. Okay, now y'all are in the driver's seat. What are you willing to do to better this city? And if you're going to do the same song and dance, you ain't no better than your predecessors. Because we as independent voters, let me say this like this. We as independent voters are sick and tired of y'all's mess.
Okay.
And there's more of us than y'all know. And we will get you recalled.
All right. So my question.
If I got to come to the station and say, Noni, hire me to help you out, I'll get involved that way. But we tired of y'all.
But my question
really
to you,
are.
though, T-Bone, is are you asking a question or are you making a statement?
Well, here's my thing.
I'm doing both.
I have this question.
With that,
so you answering your own question then?
I have this question. You said that Mayor Cantrell's office said her domestic and international travel was part of doing the city's business. That included attending global forums, climate summits, city sister missions in Europe, and trade and export opportunities. Can you think of one business that came to the city as a result of that travel? I'll wait.
The problem, though, is also this, counselor. Those people she talked to shied away from New Orleans because they have bad business practices known to the business community.
Right.
And I can tell you this as somebody that's worked corporate. They say, oh, the city, look, we're going to do this just to keep the city happy, but we know they're not going to do right.
Well, I need somebody to do right.
CEOs say this. I have heard CEOs say this, counselor. The proof is in the pudding. They got to do better by business.
Everybody does. And I'm holding everybody accountable. But at this point, you mentioned that she went to all this domestic and international travel and that she brought business into the city of New Orleans. She traveled to...
No, I'm saying that she was trying to.
Oh, okay.
She was trying to, and it didn't work.
Okay.
It did not work. That's what I'm saying.
Well, to
Why?
me...
Because the business community already knows New Orleans is one of the poorest cities in the country. We throw all the great parties. People love to come in and party. But they don't like to do business with this city.
If I am paying one of my employees to go out and network and recruit business, then I'm also looking for a measurable. I'm looking to see what you generated as a result of that business expense.
Right.
You know, and I'm just
I would
not
like
seeing
to
it.
see that too.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not saying that this mayor did that
right
perfectly.
I'm
saying
look
that's
to see
what
where this new
reasoning
mayor
was
goes.
for it, and then they pounded her over the head for it.
All right, T-Bone.
However, I do know there's other mayors that's tried to do the same thing in the past, and it hasn't worked.
Right.
Why?
So if
because
they're not going to...
historically, we as a city look bad to big business.
Right.
Okay.
We don't do good business with big business. And that's why you can't keep people in one shell square. That's why you can't bring a Fortune 500 company here
Okay.
to generate jobs.
All right, T-Bone,
or
let's get to
commerce.
these other calls, man. I got you. Thank you, brother.
All
Have a
right,
good weekend.
y'all. Have a good weekend.
All right, Tony? Tony?
Yeah, hey, Gerard, Tony from Algiers. Brother, great spirited conversation from everyone here. I totally agree to everything that was said. The key for me is, like you said, it's responsibility. The city council, I think our city leadership lost track of what was going on in the city in regards to all this money. What a lot of people need to understand, too, is that the city had to pay for all this extra stuff that happened, all the way from the terrorist attack. The city, I'm like, where was the state in providing money and funding for all that? All that's the stuff that took up the budget. You know, the snowstorm, you know, the Sugar Bowl, Superdome, Taylor Swift, all this nonsense and stuff here that the city of New Orleans had to fund that was probably not a part of the budget. You know, even the rainy day fund couldn't help support all the monies that was needed to cover all these items.
Mm-hmm.
Plus all this other stuff that was going on with the mayor that the city leadership got sidetracked about. And let me lastly say this. Gilbert Montano knew what was going on, and he got out of here. You know what I'm saying? He got out from under. He already knew that stuff. He lied to them. And they took it for what it's worth. They asked him for no evidence, or they didn't scrutinize him. They just took his word for it, and here we are.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think that New Orleans is the cultural front porch for all of Louisiana, right? The Superdome,
Yes,
the French Quarter, Mardi Gras, Jazz Fest.
Right.
These attractions don't just belong to New Orleans. They're the state's calling card to the world. So every time a visitor lands at our airport and spends money in our restaurants, our hotels, our bars, the entire state financially benefits. The state collects sales tax. The state benefits from tourism marketing. The state rides the national reputation that New Orleans has built. So here is what I need this mayor coming in and this city council to do. I need New Orleans to stop footing the bill to host all of those attractions that fuel the state economy. Right now.
Absolutely.
Right now, I need this mayor and this city council to use that same connection you had to go get that $125 million bond to tell the state that we are no longer going to host attractions to fuel your economy. The state is going to have to pick up the bill for the New Orleans Police Department's overtime that carries the law enforcement burden that goes far beyond the normal needs of a city of our size.
Thank you, because all that fell on the city of New Orleans.
I just threw it up, brother.
All that money
put your fist in the air.
Barriers.
But put your fist in the air.
State troopers.
Right. You know, Mardi Gras, that is a tremendous expense and burden on the NOPD. But where's
Yes, ma'am.
Right. And that is a major event that's not just for the city of New Orleans. It is for the state. Managing the safety for millions of tourists every year, that needs to come out of the state budget and not the city's budget.
Absolutely right. And also, they should be able to get a cut from all those other state-funded areas. You know, the Superdome, Smoothie King Center, Ernest N. Morial. You know, I talked to some people who didn't even know at Champion Square where the parking lots are. All that money goes to the state.
Yeah,
all
that's state property.
Helena, homegirl, we need a new deal.
All right, Tony, we got to take our break.
I'll help you negotiate it.
We got to take our break, man. You got me in here with my fist up in the air, so. All right, Tony, we'll talk to you, man. Have a good weekend. All right, more coming up, yeah. Oh, Lord. I forgot we got the Rebel in the house today. More coming up next.
In the lower nine, we waited long enough for empty promises. Cindy Wynn delivers. She's fought blight, brought housing, and helped small businesses rise again. Now her plan means safer streets, cleaner blocks, and real jobs right here at home. Cindy Wynn building a better east, starting with us in the lower Ninth Ward, paid for by the committee to elect Cindy Wynn.
Hi, this is Arnie Filko. Let's elevate every Tuesday through Thursday from 6 to 7 o'clock p.m. as we discuss the community, the country, and the world, from politics to current events to sports. We look forward to your input and continuing the quality programming on your community station, WBOK. Join Carrie and I every Tuesday through Thursday, 6 to 7 o'clock p.m. on Elevated Conversations, the Arnie and Carrie Show. See you soon.
Meet Leanna, a part-time chef and full-time mom. In the past, Leanna didn't have health insurance because she didn't think she could afford it. What she didn't realize is she qualified for Medicaid. She loves the coverage and peace of mind that comes with high-quality care, the kind of care you get with Healthy Blue. This is Medicaid, and it's for more people than you think, maybe even you. To see if you qualify, go to myhealthybluela.com.
Hey, what's up? This is Antonio Daniels. Check out the Sports Report at 6 p.m. on WBOK.
Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. 504-582-9422 is the number. Jay, you've been holding on. How you doing? Jay?
How you doing there? How you doing?
Good, brother. How you doing?
I guess I'm asking you, Ron. You're a businessman. You and this Miss lady there. Okay, these three people that went to Baton Rouge, they didn't include the mayor in none of the business deal. Okay,
right?
Did they call her? I'm gonna ask you from a business point of view. I know what we all is in business.
Did they call her?
They didn't call her. They didn't admit her in nothing. I heard this from another radio station. They didn't want her nowhere around Tinkerbell and Billy and that other guy. Didn't want her nowhere around.
Yeah.
So I heard on the radio, I heard this from a different radio because I listen to both radios, so that she got to sign off on this. Would you sign off on this?
She's going to sign off on this. She's already in enough hot water. She's going to sign
So
off.
she would be stupid because she could be charged with other things. She already going to jail for, something. I don't know if she's going or not, but I wouldn't sign off on her.
I don't think she wants to be the person that all the city employees point to for why they're not getting their paychecks.
No, she is not the person. The Tinkerbell and her crew, Red Bottom, they're the one down there.
I understand what you're saying, but I also know that she's not going to withhold a signature and have city employees and their families not receive paychecks. I don't think she's going to pull a Trump where she's going to allow everyone to starve because she didn't get her way.
I was just going to say that.
Right.
If the Republicans can do it, why can't she do it? Because I got mad about you gonna come to me. I'm talking about you, a business person. You gonna come to me and you didn't include me, and then you and Tinkerbell and Billy went up there. I don't even know what they were talking about because they didn't include me.
Well, here's the thing. I'm involved in a lot of very high-level negotiations. I negotiate $100 million deals in class actions.
I know that.
So here's the thing. I'll give you an example. In the Hard Rock case, where we're negotiating $100 million deals, there are 13 people on the committee, but there are only 4 of us in charge of negotiating settlement. You put your best people at the table, and who determines best people sometimes is the relationships that they have with the other side, okay, based upon past experience with the other side. So when our committee sat down to put our best horses forward to negotiate the Hard Rock deal, they looked at who has negotiated deals of this size before and who has the relationships with the defense counsel to make it happen. I think it was a very smart move to send people who had the relationships with the state legislature to get it done. Now,
So you think it's right that they left her out?
I think in this instance, it was a smart move because credibility in relationships matter.
And Jay, just to think about something for a minute. If that was me, I wouldn't want to go. Because this ain't going to happen. Nobody's signing the dotted line next week. This is going to take somewhere close to 30 days. The lawyers got to look at it.
Everybody does not have to be at every table.
All I got to do is get the paperwork, and more than likely, this is going to be her problem anyway because I'm going to be gone in 90 days.
Right. You know, and we don't even know if she wanted to participate.
Right.
Okay. I heard the same report you heard that she was not included, but that it is going to require her signature. I understand that. And I think she's a big girl too. And she's in business too. And she understands that you got to put your best horse forward. Okay. I think she gets that. I don't think her feelings were hurt. She's a big girl. And I think she knows the situation she finds herself in. I think she's acutely aware of the situation in which she finds herself right now.
But in less than 90 days, this ain't going to be my problem, no way.
Right. She might have chosen not to participate.
Right.
You know, but in my opinion, I think they looked at who they had on their team and they sent the best representatives of their team for this particular mission. Now, the next mission may call for a different team, may call for a different delegation. What I want them to do is to continue to send the best delegation to accomplish the business of the city, no matter who that delegation might be. And next time, it might be Oliver. Next time, it might be somebody else on the council.
I want to say this, and then I want to get off. Okay, both of y'all are business people. If you send me a memo in January or February and nobody reads it, whose fault is that?
I think we already established 2 weeks ago that it was the city council's fault for the budgetary crisis we find ourselves in.
Why is Red Bottom and Billy is talking about they wants to know is there any more surprises out there when they was the overseer, because the city council is our checks and balances, ain't it?
Supposed to be.
Okay. So in other words, what those two done, Red Bottom and Tinkerbell, Billy. So what they did was plotted all this right here. If you look at it, because I had a business and I watched my budget. I watched my budget. When I seen something going wrong, something right, honey, come here. I want you to look at these books here. But that's why I'm saying that this is kind of like, seems like to me, this is kind of like a thing that was set up because she was bad mouth on every end. I ain't never seen a black woman in politics was criticized like she was criticized. I want to see is Billy gonna get criticized that way?
I don't know either, but I would say that there was another woman that was criticized in this whole scenario, and I don't know if you paid attention to this part, but Romy Samuels, who is
the other day in the
she's in the fiscal office. She's in the financial person's office.
That's where I got
and she stated that this information had been noted to them earlier last year, June of last year, the end of last year, and the beginning of this year, and she was ignored.
And then I got to go with you, Robert. I got to say this. And then you said Grandma said she don't care what nobody say.
Yeah.
So that means Grandma is a part of the situation too.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna let her do that.
No, I don't think that. I think that she's about to get reeled in.
Somebody gonna reel in.
Yeah, somebody's gonna reel her in. You can't spend with like you have a bottomless budget when you have a budget. So I think these weekly budget meetings are gonna have to reel her in.
But I'm just gonna say this and get off there. Boy, I wouldn't sign nothing because I'd be scared I'm gonna get more time.
I think you might put yourself in a worse situation if you're seen as the person who thwarted the ability of people to feed their families. She's not going to get off with no slack.
She's black. I'm not being racist. She's black. These people go after those people when they don't do what they say do.
Well, I warned
And
of
she
that
knows
2
that.
years ago.
Yeah, you did.
Okay. All right, baby. Hey,
I
y'all,
yelled
y'all
it loud
take care.
and proud on this radio.
She tried to drive the U-Haul.
Y'all take care. Hey, somebody else got to talk. I don't want
All
to
right,
go all
Jay.
the time.
All right, buddy. Take it easy. Yeah,
I
you
tried
tried
to
drive
save her from herself.
tried to drive the U-Haul.
I did.
So, no matter how we look at this, I know you say you're proud of the way that the relationships with the state and the city were.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
encouraged.
Yeah, encouraged. But we shouldn't be here in the first place.
No, we should not.
So,
And it's their fault that we're here. I'm not going to say it's not. It is their fault that we're here. And
But-
when I say they, I mean the
Now-
city council. I mean
But
the
let me
mayor's office.
let me get to this point because this point is kind of important. And the point that I have where I am, and I don't know if anybody else is there, they probably can call in and tell me. Right now, I think that this city council has ruined the trust of the people that it serves. And the reason why I say that, because I can say, I don't know it, but I know it. That this just didn't happen. And this just wasn't known. They waited until after the election to bring this point out, that we were $160 million over budget. You didn't hear peep of none of this until this election was over with, the primary was over with, and they got who they wanted. All the rest of them, they had to go through the point of runoffs and stuff. Y'all were just collateral damage.
I think that the game has changed a little bit, right? Because of the state oversight, the legislative auditor. We're going to see how this goes.
But you don't think I'm right on this?
I
You
think
think
they're
that-
going to be forced to have more transparency.
But do you think that they
Credibility?
knew this? Do you think they knew this before this election?
I do. I do think that the budgetary crisis that we are in was known to all city council members and to Mayor Cantrell and her administration prior to this election.
And I think that somebody needs to ask them at those meetings.
And I think we need to figure out what was going on, but in order to stop it from happening going forward, we need to accept the election results. We need to hold the new people accountable, and we need to figure out a path forward. We are too busy and in too much debt and in too much crisis right now to do what they did to Cantrell and hire somebody at $800,000 to investigate where the money went, blah, blah, blah. I don't even want to hear that foolishness right now. In my mind, we need to fix the problem, stop the water from leaking out the budget, and move forward and find a solution. I don't need to know who shot John. John is dead. Bury John and move on.
Okay? I
Okay?
need to know who shot John.
Well, you figure out who shot John.
Because
but
when I
don't
find out
bill
who's
us
going to
for
shot
it.
John, I definitely want to make sure that they put their ass in jail.
Well, you go ahead and you figure out who shot John on a $1.50 budget. Because do not spend a dime of the money the city does not have to investigate who shot John.
We just going to let John
is
die?
dead.
We're going to let him die?
John is dead. John is buried. Y'all can have a second line for him. But at this point, we need to move on, and we need to get our problems fixed in this city.
Oh, John. We care, man. We care, John.
You go ahead and care about John.
Don't let her put your name in vain like that.
I'm ready to send a bill to the state so they can start paying their share and we can dig out of this hole.
Rest in peace, John. Rest in peace. Or should I say pieces?
Either one is fine with me.
Damn.
Just move on, step over John, and let's get it going right.
All right, y'all. News is next.
From the campus of Xavier University, WBOK Go and Equity Media Station.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Republicans are rejecting Minority Leader Chuck Schumer's plan to end the government shutdown. Schumer says Democrats will back the GOP's House bill if it includes a one-year Obamacare credit extension, but Senate Majority Leader John Thune called it a non-starter.
Democrats would like to see an end to this shutdown.
It's unclear if the Senate will vote on the bill today. Maryland's black Congressman Kwesi Mfume praised former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi after she announced she will not seek re-election in 2026. Mfume called Pelosi a trailblazer who made history, inspired women and girls, and never backed down from fighting for justice, adding he's proud of his, quote, sister from Baltimore, end quote. And Dallas Cowboys player Marshawn Nealon has died by suicide at age 24. The 2024 draft pick from Western Michigan recently scored a touchdown on Monday. If you or someone you know needs help, call or text 988. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. It is Friday, 5 o'clock.
With Barry and John.
Yeah. We need to have a service. No service for John?
No service for
You're
John.
just going to let John stay right there in the street?
I'm not spending a dime on John. I need the auditor to figure out what happened and fix it. And we need to move forward. We need to be fiscally responsible moving forward. I don't want to see the same foolishness that we had last time with the council investigating the mayor and spending $800,000 with Fishman Haygood to find out what? To find out what? What we already knew.
John.
We don't need to do that.
We love you, man.
I have no time for pinning the tail on the donkey or any more games.
Sweet
At this point,
Lord.
we need to move forward and we need to develop a plan.
Sweet chariot. Coming for to take John home. Sing along. Give me your hand.
I am not playing this game with you. We are moving forward. Now, people also wanted to know, because I'm going to change the subject since you can't act like you got sense. People also asked us to talk about what's on the ballot, the upcoming, you see, let John ride on Canal Street. I agree. They also asked us to tell them what's on the ballot for November 15 and to give them an explanation of what's on the ballot. So maybe we can transition into that as you mourn the loss of John.
That's all right, John.
So let me just tell you what's on the ballot. There's a $510 million bond package on the ballot. New Orleans is asking voters to approve $500 million in borrowing. That money would go toward fixing roads, recreation centers, public safety buildings, some drainage, some stormwater projects, and affordable housing. The city is telling us that this will not raise our taxes at this point. The bonds would be paid back over time with the debt tax that's already on the books. So here's the tension. Here's the issue that you need to weigh as a voter. New Orleans desperately needs infrastructure upgrades. We all feel it. Potholes, flooding, aging buildings. But bonds are debt. And every dime we borrow, we have to pay back later and for decades. So the question becomes, are we ready to go into more debt in order to fix our infrastructure? And that's the decision you need to make. So $415 million of the $510 will go for city improvements and infrastructure. So if you vote yes, you're authorizing the bond.
Mm-hmm.
If you vote no, you are not authorizing the bond. $50 million goes for stormwater and drainage and $45 million for affordable housing. So that's one of the things that's on your ballot. But taxes may be raised at some point. I just want you to know. But right now, they're saying it will not raise your taxes if you vote yes on these infrastructure bonds.
So this city is really known for bonds. We may not consider it and be known to the point where we're talking about bonds. But when Mark Morial came forward and said, listen, the traffic that's coming from and to the East Bank to the West Bank and vice versa, we had one bridge. And that bridge stayed clogged all the time. Then Mark Morial came forward with his help through the legislature, through the state, and said, we want to build another bridge. That toll that we paid was a toll for 20 years. Mm-hmm. 20 years came up, and then everybody wanted to go crazy and say, we need to keep that bridge, so we need to keep that toll, and even got to the point where we were saying that we wanted that toll to be gone after 20 years because it paid for the bridge. That's a bond.
That's a bond.
That's what that is. It's a bond. It's a toll that paid the bond that financed to put that bridge up, the second bridge. So the other part that we got to talk about with that was the other administration, the Landrieu administration, was telling everybody we need to keep the toll on the bridge.
Right.
And if you notice, when they said we need to keep the toll on the bridge bridge had already been paid for. So we were trying to figure out why. Come to find out, that money that we were keeping after the toll and after that bond had been paid was going to Lake Charles.
Oh,
wow. Your money, my money. Every time you go across the river, that money was going to Lake Charles. So that's where I'm saying we need to make sure that if that's what we're going to pay for, that's what we're going to pay for.
Isn't that great that they have the reality check?
Mm-hmm.
So that we can keep them honest?
A lot of people. And see, my point was, if that was not what we were paying for and the bond was paid for, you remember Miss Landrieu was standing down at the port telling everybody we got to keep that or we're going to shut the lights off.
Right. I remember that.
And Jackie Clarkson, God rest her soul, was right there with him.
Right. I remember that.
Well, we found out that money was going to Lake Charles.
Well, we need to keep an eye on it. But right now, they're saying this is not going to cost you in your pocket, but it may cost us down the road. It is more debt that we'd be getting into. But at the same time, we all tired of losing our cars, falling into these potholes, right?
Yep.
There's no denying the fact that our infrastructure is aging and falling apart, and we do need infrastructure. So, you need to weigh that when you go to vote, this proposition. And that's what you need to think about. Do we want infrastructure now and potentially have to pay for it later?
So my problem with these bills, and I'm not saying not to vote for this, but I'm just saying this is the problem that I'm having because there's been so much corruption. There has been so much issues with these different, let's build this fund, and we're going to build this fund, and we're going to do this and do this. I need the writing of these bills to be specific, and they're not. The money can be moved. The money don't have to stay there in that account. Where is the account? We need to be writing legislation that says it can only go toward one thing only.
Well, if the way this is written, it's supposed to be dedicated for street improvements, infrastructure,
funds.
Stormwater, drainage projects, and affordable housing. So we need to make sure that that's where that money goes. I, for one, will be voting yes because I need my city to have a facelift. I want to live in a place where I can drive down a city street and not worry about losing my vehicle. So, I want more recreation centers that help to serve the children of this community. That would be covered in this bond. These are things that I need for my quality of life here in New Orleans. And so I will be voting yes, but that's the first bond issue on the ballot. And you need to make a decision, listener, as to whether or not you want to approve a bond that you may need to pay for later.
So one of the things, too, that grabs me by the the gonads here we go, is writing stuff like we need more recreational facilities in the city of New Orleans. Do we really?
Yes, we do. Because when you travel away from the city of New Orleans, you find more neighborhood rec centers.
So we have the rec centers. We don't have the people to staff them.
And that's part of what this will go to.
So I don't need another rec center. I need you to be able to pay the people, those young folks, a living wage so that they can get hired to become the lifeguards, the people that can run these different places that can take care of it. We need to be writing some type of legislation so we can get folks a living wage to work, because we don't have one of those.
Well, that's not what will be covered. As
I went off the rails.
Okay.
I went off the rails.
So I want to be very clear. If you vote yes to this amendment, you're voting for a city improvement bond that will cover infrastructure, roads, public safety facilities, and recreation. You're also voting for storm drainage projects and affordable housing if you vote yes on this particular ballot item.
All right, let's go to Galloway. Galloway!
What's going on, G-Man?
You the man.
Oh, man. My throat is dry as a desert, man. They ain't got no OE where I'm at, brother. So
you got no
gotta
OE
get
yet?
back home, man.
What's up with you and your 40?
No, man, I'm up in Georgia, man. You know them folks, they bougie up here. They ain't got that kind of stuff up there, man. I told you I had to go talk to them young mayors, man.
You need to go get you some yielding, whatever they call that stuff, yielding.
Nah, I just drink
That's
water.
not bougie.
And hopefully that I can get on a plane tomorrow, man. Y'all talk about money and budgets and this and that. You need to see that line at Hartsfield, Atlanta. Them folks turning around because they can't go to their destination.
Yeah, because they cut 20% of the flights.
Yeah, they cut. It's crazy, man, because you can sit there and go from Atlanta to New York, but you can't go from Atlanta to Montgomery or Birmingham to Monroe to New Orleans. It's just a mess. It depends on how many people on the flight, what time, how many pilots, how many traffic controllers they got at a time. It is real life, man. You got folks just sitting up there hoping to get on a plane to go home or go to their weekend destination, man.
Wow.
Yeah, I will be driving to Houston for Thanksgiving. I'm not trusting air travel right now.
Now, New Orleans and Houston should be good.
I'm not trusting it. I will be driving and pushing that vehicle to Houston for Thanksgiving.
I was about to say, don't fly Delta if you do decide to fly, because they the main ones that's talking that. But y'all talking some good stuff today, though, man. But I'm going to tell you now, I'm not going to believe one word that comes out of Helena, JP, or Joe Jerusal's mouth. I'm not buying it. You said it right. The city council has lost my trust, my family's trust, and a lot of voters that I know's trust. There's no way. You mean to tell me that you can go up to Baton Rouge and get a deal made, but you can't go right across the hall in City Hall and go get a deal made with the mayor?
Right. Y'all don't talk to one another, and you are 20 steps away from each other's office. But you can drive 65 miles to go up there to make a deal because you have to.
Exactly, and that disturbs me. And we'll never know what was said. And if we're not having to pay property tax, where are we gonna get this money from? Come on, man. So look, the devil in them details, we'll never really figure it out. I'm voting no on every bond issue that you can think of. I'm voting on no. I'd vote no right about now. If the city council puts something in front of me, I vote no not to have red beans and rice on Monday.
So, Galloway, I think that we got to be able to look at something, too, and I don't know if we've ever did a comparison, and that's the weight of monies. So we're talking about $125 million that we don't have, right? We're trying to get $125 million, but $160 is missing. But we're also talking about the budget. The budget is usually $1.6 billion. You're telling me that we're getting enough money into this bag of general fund money for us to be able to put a $1.6 billion budget together that's spending over 12 months. But we don't have $100 million?
Gerard, we got the money.
That don't make sense.
But Gerard, you listen, you've been telling us all week, and I know folks have been listening because I pay attention real well. The $162 million, where's that money for Entergy? And then you put us on game again yesterday. The Inspector General, he know where that money is.
And they ain't said a peep. Nothing. But that's his job. We pay him over $200,000, but he got a $5 million budget.
Now, why wasn't he included in the meeting?
Oh, no.
Why would he be at that meeting to request the money?
No, he's not going to do that. He's going to investigate the wrongdoing of monies.
Okay, I take that. I'm just saying, if this man is supposed to be doing what wrongdoing with money, and they about to give him 160-something million or whatever they're giving him money, I think that, this is my opinion, you need to be there. Because apparently he's not doing his job well. Because there's no way you can make me believe that nobody can tell me where this money is, but we can go up here and get this money. With that, what that meeting take, a couple of hours, or they started on the meeting or whatever? It didn't take that long. I'm just not buying none of this stuff. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist. So you think about this. You talk about infrastructure bills. How long have we been having infrastructure bills, and how long have we been putting money in these potholes? Probably since we were kids, and I'm 50, and it still ain't been fixed. So what we think is going to get fixed now under Olive Oil's new term? I don't trust these people. Good luck to them. Don't raise my property taxes. That's all I can tell you, because if you raise my property taxes, I'm going to move into City Hall. I'm telling you where I'm going.
All right,
I'm not paying no more property
think about
taxes.
something. The Sewage and Water Board is actually an entity of the state. It is not an entity of the city. The Sewage and
And
Water
how much money
Board.
they owe?
The Sewage and Water Board for the last year owe us approximately $87 million.
When are they gonna pay?
They paid $9 million. That's it. So
Hey,
we're
I need to go work for them.
we're letting different entities of the state do what they want to do.
Take your money and run.
We need better deals with the state. You know, we talked about that a few minutes ago.
I listened to that well. Do you really think those three people will go back up to the state and say, hey, look, we only get it 23 cents off a dollar. We need to get 50 cents off the dollar. If Lake Charles cannot raise their money, that's on Lake Charles.
Well, here's another
If Alexandria can't raise their money, that's on them.
But here's another one for you. The municipal auditorium, not the municipal auditorium, the Memorial Convention Center, which sits down right there at the end of, right there at the beginning of the Mississippi, is a state entity. It is not a city entity. They collect somewhere in the neighborhood of 30, 40, $50 million a year. We get none of that money.
None.
No, sir.
None. Zero. Trust me, it's a lot of stuff that I know, and it makes me scratch my head.
But they use city resources, police, water, fire, all the things that you could possibly think of. They use it every time, and we pay for the usage of those police officers that's down there to keep the peace. The EMS, all of those. Those are our resources. We pay for them.
But while we are meeting with the state legislative auditor weekly, and while we are continuing to be in negotiation and partnership with Baton Rouge on this issue, we need a new deal. We need a true partnership between the city and the state. If New Orleans is carrying the state's water, then the state needs to pay for part of the bucket. You know, look at the Superdome, look at Mardi Gras, look at the French Quarter. These are statewide economic engines. And the police presence required to secure them is not just to New Orleans' benefit, it's to the state's benefit. So, you know, if the state wants the benefit, the state needs to share the cost. So, you know, just like they went to Baton Rouge to argue for the $125 million, they need to go to Baton Rouge to lobby for us to keep more of our dollars here to fix our own problems.
All right, here's another one for you. NBA Youngboy. They said 400 extra police out there because of the fact that they didn't want all those fights and stuff happening with his concert. So he sold out the Smoothie King Center. They put all these police out there. And then the Smoothie King Center came back, which is a state property, and told the city of New Orleans that they would not help pay for the cost of protection. The police to be out there and make sure that they're doing traffic and checking those kids in. They would not pay for it. So we
now,
ended up.
I mean, interrupt, but was that deal made before, during, or after? Or somebody just said we'll figure it out later?
After.
Now, if you knew this was coming, and you knew how much for quote unquote police protection you needed or wanted, wouldn't that have been probably every event? Security is like the number one event thing that you have to worry about. Shouldn't that have been having negotiated with somebody? I don't know who the
that should have been in the
was,
contract. But more than that, there needs to be a contract between the city and the state where NOPD receives recurring funding from the state budget tied to tourism, policing, and major events that occur in the Superdome and in the Smoothie King Center. It shouldn't come out of the city's budget. It should come from a recurring fund budget from the state. It's not charity. It's fair value for services rendered by the city.
I agree with you. My issue is nobody is going to go up there and demand it. Nobody is. I mean, y'all are talking the truth. Y'all are telling the folks what we need to do. But which elected official is going to go up there and say, this is what we have to do?
Well, you'd be surprised how many of them listen to this show. So I'm hoping.
I know they listen.
I'm hoping and they're listening, and I'm hoping that they're taking a note that New Orleans generates the culture, the visibility, and the dollars, and we should not be carrying 100% of the public safety bill for the benefit of the entire state. In Baton Rouge, they understand political leverage, and so do we here in the city of New Orleans. It's time for cooler heads to prevail. It's time for these people to use their legislative experience and the relationships they've built and strike a smart deal for the city of New Orleans.
Well, I'm going to wait on that deal because Jeff Landry is more worried about finding a football coach and a Charlie Kirk statue. And Liz, his AG, she more worried about becoming the next governor. I don't think them folks are really interested. They want status quo. Give us your money. You down there suffering, going into debt. Your roads are bad. Your schools are failing. They really don't care. Long as you have an event and I get my 70-something cents out of that dollar, go ahead on, New Orleans. And then when you get in some more trouble, come back up here and beg again. I think it's just wash and rinse and repeat. That's just my opinion. Until I see something different. I would love to see. All right, brother. Y'all take it easy.
Appreciate you much, man. We'll talk to you in a minute.
All right.
Safe travels home, too, by the way. That's interesting.
It is. I really think that the legislature needs to be appropriating money to NOPD, the City of New Orleans, the Convention Center, and the tourism corporations.
My friend John sent me a text message. He said,
John is dead.
He said, tell Suzette, please don't leave me dead. I'm serious. He did. I'm going to show it to you. More coming up, y'all. Hold on.
John texted from the grave.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat, brought to you by Lowe's. Despite the fact that Black Americans drink about the same amount of spirits as their white counterparts, they only make up a small portion of those in charge of spirits companies. That's according to research done by Pronghorn, a firm that's investing in Black-owned spirits brands and works to help Black people in the industry reach leadership positions. Dia Sims is co-founder of the initiative and says the work it's doing for the spirit space can translate to any industry.
We're building it open code so that the same methodology could be applied to left-handed unicorns that want to get into oil, right? It could be to all veterans that are 6'5" that want to get into tech, right? It's much more around what's the map, the process, the training, the zip codes, the information, the inputs, the outputs, and the measurement that actually drives success.
Pronghorn has invested hundreds of millions of dollars in Black-owned spirits companies. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Late nights are made for chillin', and you can do just that every Sunday night at 10 p.m. as DJ Wick brings you The Love Zone. It's the perfect way to top off your weekend with your favorite old and new school ballads. So sit back, relax, and let DJ Wick take you to the Love Zone on WBOK and on the World Wide Web at WBOK1230.com.
Cindy Wynn isn't just a leader. She's our neighbor, a mom, a hard worker, and someone who cares about every family in our community. On Election Day, vote number 55, Cindy Wynn District E.
I'm Cindy Wynn, and I approve this message.
The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation is the nonprofit organization that owns the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival, presented by Shell. With the funds generated from Jazz Fest, the foundation invests in Louisiana communities through economic development, cultural enrichment, and free educational programs. To learn more about the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation, please visit us at www.jazzandheritage.org.
Late night and still hungry? We've got you strong drinks, old school jams, and plates that hit every time. From breakfast classics to flavors that feel like home. Cool vibes, fast service, and the party doesn't stop till you do. This Saturday night, we're keeping it live till 2 a.m. Pull up to 2517 Bayou Road. Nano's is the place to be. Good food, good music, good people. Come hungry, leave happy.
Hi, this is Joel Myers. Don't forget to join us 6 p.m. It's the Sports Report on WBOK.
Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back.
Welcome back. We did get a message from John. John said, I'm killing him on the air.
Yeah, John said you killing him on the radio. Why you doing that to him?
Oh, well. Oh, well.
John, don't worry. I got your back, bruh. John taller than me, too. So
I know John very well. I've been knowing him since I was a child.
We ain't going to let nobody kill you, bruh.
Right. Let me talk about the next charter amendment, if I can. It's for city attorney independence.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, the city attorney works for the mayor. This amendment would give the office more independence and make it harder for a mayor to remove the city attorney and to control the city attorney. Supporters of this amendment say this prevents political pressure on legal decisions, and the city attorney should represent the law and the people of the city of New Orleans and not the mayor's personal agenda. Opponents worry it would make the city attorney less accountable to the mayor and to elected leadership. A question of whose vision are they going to follow, the people or the mayor? So this is an issue that's on your ballot. It's a charter amendment.
But don't you think that the city attorney should be at the, I guess, at the quest for the mayor?
Well, there was some conflicts here.
Because
in
the
this
city
last
attorney thought that
Yes.
the city attorney should be for them.
The city attorney
But I think
did not feel that the mayor was being very responsive to city business, and there was an issue there. So I think that this is what this is born of, the fact that they want some more independence for a city attorney. I think a city attorney should be more independent. I don't think the city attorney just works for the mayor and should do what the mayor is telling him to do. I think the city attorney needs to act in the best interests of the citizens of the city of New Orleans and have some autonomy and some independence.
But there was something that the city council was trying to say, that the city attorney should be representing them as well. And I didn't know what the I guess the statutes or the believability or whatever they have that's supposed to be that.
Well, it's the devil's in the details. We don't have the actual charter amendment as written in front of us, but this is what this particular provision on the ballot is geared towards, giving the city attorney more independence and not having them accountable to the whim of a mayor.
Okay.
So that's the next thing. The next charter amendment would give the city planning commission and the city council more time to act on requests to change the city's master plan. That's the document guiding land use and zoning. So a vote yes on that amendment means they'll have more time to review development proposals. Voting no keeps the shorter deadlines that we already have.
And I think they need more time.
They do need more time. I will be voting yes on that.
Mm-hmm.
The next one is there are several neighborhoods that are asking to renew or to create parcel fees, additional charges on property owners to pay for security, beautification, lighting, and neighborhood improvements.
Did you see that Audubon Place fee?
I did see that.
Good Lord.
So, for example, the French Quarter Economic Development District sales tax renewal is on the ballot. The Broadmoor Neighborhood Improvement District parcel, that means more $200 more for people who live in Broadmoor. The Lakewood Crime Prevention and Improvement District parcel will add $600 to what those homeowners pay. The Spring Lake subdivision adds $200 to what they pay. The Tall Timbers Crime Prevention Improvement District will pay $230 more for the first 2 years and $250 thereafter for 5 years.
That's reasonable.
And the Upper Audubon Security District
Here
parcel,
go the one. That's the one.
$1,200 they will pay for 7 years. So that those are on your ballot if you live in those areas of the city. The next issue that is on the ballot is the clerk of criminal district court that handles a variety of administrative and operational functions. This is what the clerk does. They manage court records, filings, and dockets in criminal court. They oversee the parish's elections for municipal, parish, and state legislative offices. They also implement the systems for records access, e-filing, protective order updates, and so on. This is crucial for the administration of justice, transparency, and access to courts and elections.
And they also handle the elections, meaning they're the ones, the clerk of court's responsible for making sure that your voting box, a voting ballot, whatever that is, that you go into to cast your vote is in place.
Right, and operational.
And operational for the day of the election.
Right.
And making sure the count comes out correctly from the machines at the end of that election.
That's right. So that you have two candidates in that race. Darren Lombard is the incumbent. Darren's background is he currently serves as the clerk of criminal district court in Orleans Parish. His prior experience is he worked as a deputy clerk at the criminal district court. He also was elected in 2012 as the clerk of Second City Court. His education is he's a graduate of O. Perry Walker High School and the University of New Orleans. His opponent, the challenger, is Calvin Duncan. Calvin Duncan was formerly incarcerated. Mr. Duncan spent more than 28 years in prison after a murder conviction, but it was later vacated in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
To his credit, while incarcerated, he taught himself law, and he worked for decades to clear his record. His campaign narrative emphasizes personal experience within the justice system, records access, and wrongful conviction. He argues that his personal experience gives him unique insight into how the criminal justice system works, how records, filings, and access issues affect defendants, ex-prisoners, and the public. He wants improved errors and omissions in the records. He wants to improve that. He wants to make the access easier for people. He wants better transparency, stronger protections for those facing the system. He is a lawyer, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
He actually became a lawyer
while he was in jail.
While he was in jail, and he is the challenger in that particular race. That's an important race to watch.
You ever met Calvin?
I have not met him, but I'm very impressed with what he's done in his life.
I went to the church right there on Canal Street. What's it, Grace Church?
Mm-hmm.
And he was the guest speaker that day. And afterwards, the sheriff and I was standing outside talking to him. Nice man, very nice man.
Yeah, very nice man. Is what I hear about him.
Mm-hmm.
And look, I believe in that he's done the work. He's done the work. So at any rate, those are the two candidates for clerk of criminal district court. And then you have the election in New Orleans East, the city council election. You have two candidates in that race. You have Jason Hughes, who is currently serving as a state representative for Louisiana House District 100. He began his term in the legislature in January of 2020. Before that, he built a career in state and local government. He worked in legislative direction under former Governor Kathleen Blanco. He was a managing regional operations director for Senator Mary Landrieu, and he handled federal relations for the city of New Orleans during that time.
Mm-hmm.
In this race, District E council seat, Hughes presents himself as a candidate who brings a broader understanding and a broader perspective with regard to policy experience and legislative experience. His challenger is Cindy Nguyen, and Cindy Nguyen emerged as a trailblazer in New Orleans politics as the first Vietnamese American elected to the city council representing District E. Her personal story is that after arriving in New Orleans as a young refugee from Vietnam, growing up in the city, and she developed a can-do work ethic from her family's journey. On the campaign trail, she's emphasizing neighborhood revitalization, tackling blighted housing in New Orleans East, and forging business growth in Eastern New Orleans, along with stronger local infrastructure. Having already held the district East seat, she comes into the runoff with familiarity and local presence. So that is going to be a very interesting race in New Orleans East, too.
I had a chance to go out to New Orleans East in the area of Michoud and going out there to do some work with Cindy. Also learning, because out of many of the years that I've been here, I can't say that I've been out to the Vietnamese community, Oak Island, and all those different areas on Michoud as much as I should have, to learn a lot about their culture. And then also going to the temple on Michoud. I went to the celebration of 50 years of those folks being here, removed from Vietnam to come here to live during the war. I had no idea that there was even a celebration. They had a celebration out there at the temple. And then they had another, the Fall of Saigon, I don't want to call it celebration, but the Fall of Saigon remembrance right there beside the Sanger Theater, between Sanger and that other building. And it was packed. It was a lot. I didn't understand how many folks. I was like, gee.
Oh, no, it's packed. And I've been to the celebration and their New Year's celebration many times. Particularly, I started going when I ran for office in 2004. So I get it. I understand it. I think this is what people need to think about when they're voting in that New Orleans East Council race. If you're thinking, I want someone who already knows the community inside out, cares about our streets, our houses, and our neighbors, and has done this job before, then Cindy Wynn makes a strong case. However,
now,
if
Jason,
you are thinking that I want someone who can bring bigger resources, policy experience, statewide contribution, and negotiate at a higher level for the citizens of New Orleans East, then Jason Hughes is your person.
Now, let's not even forget, for those that remember, too, out in Joe Brown Park. I know Cindy did a lot of work as your council person the first time, but I also know the person who brought the money to the Joe Brown Park area was Jason Hughes.
I'm very impressed with the young man, to be quite honest. I think that he is articulate, he is polished, he's well-educated. I think he presents very well. He has legislative experience that I think the people of New Orleans East need. I think they need, this is just my opinion, not the station's opinion. I think that they need someone who has some innovative thinking and some relationships to maybe bring some business development to New Orleans East. Yeah. And that's just my mindset. But the voters will make their determination. They're both good people. They just come from very different backgrounds, and they have very different skill sets.
Every time I pick up the phone, Jason has always said, "What time?"
Absolutely. I'm very impressed with it. If I'm from New Orleans.
Now, Cindy.
So I'm just going to say, if I was
on
voting,
behalf
I'd be
of Cindy,
voting
let me say, when Cindy was in office the first time, Cindy made it a point that every Monday that she would do a piece on the air with me.
Yeah, she was delivering food.
No.
I know. She'd come in and tell you about how she delivered food.
No.
I used to listen.
No.
And I used to comment all the time and tell you that.
No.
I need my legislator to do more than deliver food. I need my council person to do more than deliver food. I know you told me to stay out of trouble, but I'm going to say it like I feel it. I think, and you know I do, if I were voting in New Orleans East, I think y'all need a change. I think you need someone who has business connections and legislative connections and sees statewide politics to bring back to your
anybody
locale.
that has had the connection like Sherman Copeland did.
Sherman, to his credit, was a legislator.
Right.
Okay? I think people who have worked in state politics, have been in the legislature, knows how the sausage is made, okay, bring something to the table that your average citizen does not.
Did you say the sausage?
Yeah, they know how the sausage is made. Okay? So to me, I would want
Fair.
somebody who's more polished, has more experience, a broader perspective, a new change. New Orleans East keeps electing the same doggone people over and over again and thinking they're going to get something different.
All right, let's take BW. BW,
Hey,
what's
how's
going
it going
on?
today?
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. I got a question for you. I have been looking at the total numbers of the early voting, and I see it's a little bit over 13,000 people that have early voted, which is about 5% of the registered voters so far.
Uh-huh.
And then I started thinking, if you take away the council races, which I believe is really inflating those numbers, if we did not have those council races, those numbers would be even less than that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this is going to be a very, very low turnout election.
So always understand something, too. A lot of folks want to make sure that they get it in through the primary. So that's why they try to win the first time out during the primary. If they don't, they know that they got to go through hell and high water to try to get people back out to vote again. And unfortunately, BW, this is going to sound a little bit against us, but it's the truth. Black folks usually don't go back for the.
Don't remind me.
Not
don't
for the next vote. They go for the primary and then don't go back for the runoffs.
The reason that I can agree with you, I am an election commissioner, so I see that firsthand.
Okay. So you got hands-on. You got hands-on experience.
Look, I got plenty of books. I got puzzle books. I got my secret words ready because I know this will be a long day next Saturday.
So more than likely what you're saying without saying it is the fact that you're going to be sitting down and you'll have time enough to fill out those puzzle books and read some other books because folks ain't coming.
War and Peace, as a matter of fact. Who knows?
He's got time to read War and Peace.
Sad but true.
Yep.
You are so right. You are so right. And that's sad because we all do need to participate in the political process. And I just think that there's so many things on the ballot, though, that's going to affect us long term that people do need to take a greater interest in this election.
So what we do, BW, is we put those issues, amendments on ballots where we know that we're not going to get a great big old turnout.
That's true. That's true. Because I was looking at the national races on this past Tuesday. I mean, in New York and in Virginia and in
New Jersey,
Pennsylvania. What? Yeah. Jersey. Man, that says a lot.
Well, I think what you got here is you have more folks upstate that may be going out to vote because they're tired of what they're seeing.
Right.
This wasn't the changing of the guard for the governor or an indictment of Trump. What we're looking at right now is somebody that's going to be able to change maybe some things in the district. But again, the question is, do the voters believe in those folks?
Oh, that's a great question. A lot of this ballot comes down to trust. Trust in the city to spend wisely, to manage projects well, and to administer justice fairly. Infrastructure and housing dollars are needed. We all know that. Drainage and stormwater upgrades are needed. But these are long-term debt tools, and we're trusting the people we elect to manage the money in these bond issues well when we vote for these things. So, the charter, remember, it's changing how our government works. This sticks around long after one mayor leaves, right? So when you start voting to take power away from the mayor in oversight of the city attorney, it's not just for this administration, it's for all administrations to come until this is on the ballot again, right? And these neighborhood fees are going to affect some of these neighborhoods for up to 7 years. So, it's about you, what you see, what you feel on your block. These propositions may not have the drama of a presidential race, but they affect you on a day-to-day basis even more.
Yeah. So,
and then too, to even look farther ahead with these party primaries coming up next year, I just pray that there is not that much confusion among our voters.
Oh, it's always going to be confusion. There's always going to be some confusion, and not confusion because the voters aren't paying attention, but confusion how a lot of amendments are being written, who's telling the truth, how far we're going to go into supporting with this one with the PAC and everything else. So it's a whole bunch of confusion going on. But listen, I got to take a break here. We got to take a break. I appreciate you, buddy.
It.
All right. You have a good weekend. All right. We got to take a break. We'll come right back.
AURN News.
I'm Ebony McMorris. Well, today is the deadline for the Trump administration to release full SNAP benefits. That's the food assistance for more than 42 million Americans after a Rhode Island federal judge ruled the government's delay is causing irreparable harm. Judge John McConnell Jr. said the administration arbitrarily and capriciously created the crisis by refusing to release the full payments during the shutdown. The court's order forced USDA to tap billions in reserve funds it had tried to withhold, enough to cover the entire month of benefits. The agency had only sent out partial payments earlier this week, leaving American families without support. 16 million kids are at immediate risk of going hungry if the money doesn't go out today. The Justice Department is already appealing, but the judge made one thing clear: hunger should not be a political weapon. For these stories and more, go to AURN.com or follow me across social media at Ebony McMorris.
It's off the top with Norman Robinson on WBOK 1230 AM.
I've talked about Governor Jeff Landry's boneheaded attempt to wrest control of the city of New Orleans' finances. Now I must talk about Governor Landry's misguided recommendation that the state's flagship university honor the memory of the late ultra-conservative Republican Charlie Kirk. It is a suggestion that has left me bewildered and confused. The governor is suffering from a lagging approval rating of just 39% in the recent polls. This seems to be a desperate power play for attention and is a far reach. Landry says he wants a statue erected of Kirk in honor of his devotion to freedom of speech. An editorial by MSNBC framed the move by Governor Landry this way, quote, "A monument to Kirk, who was assassinated while speaking at Utah Valley University on September 10th, could be seen as a tribute to the importance of free speech on the campus where he was wrongly killed. But the Louisiana governor's push to have a statue installed at a university where Kirk never studied and in a state where he never lived is a blatant play for attention by a politician with a plummeting approval rating. The move also doubles as a textbook illustration of the way obnoxious monuments, such as the ones honoring Confederate leaders, ended up in some places those leaders never set foot in, and in some places where no Civil War battles were ever fought. Arguing that Kirk was a champion of free speech borders on hyperbole to me. Eli Mistel of Nation News put it this way: when he wrote that Charlie Kirk's speech were meant to outrage, not to enrich. Kirk was known to utter words that disparaged blacks, Jews, and Latinos, insinuating that blacks are unqualified and intellectually suspect, that Jews are ruining the country by funding Marxist agendas, and that Latinos are attempting to replace whites. He also suggested that gays should be stoned. Does this sound like a man who should be honored with a statue? I think not. It's true that under the Constitution one has the right to say what one wishes. It's equally true that such speech is inaccurate, cruel, hurtful, and divisive. Such speech from a man who prided himself as a devout Christian gives me great pause. My friend and colleague Jarvis DeBerry summed it up best in a recent column, saying, quote, "Kirk should not have been killed. On that, all Christians ought to agree. But to argue that he should be praised is to suggest that racism and the Christian faith are compatible. And who really wants to be on the record arguing that?" This is Norman Robinson off the top.
Hoops, Heat, The Truth, on demand. Ball Don't Lie is now live on all podcast platforms. Tap in, search WBOK Media, find Ball Don't Lie, and bring the fire with you wherever you go. Download, share, and leave that 5-star review, because the game doesn't stop when the show ends.
In the lower nine, we waited long enough for empty promises. Cindy Wynn delivers. She's fought blight, brought housing, and helped small businesses rise again. Now her plan means safer streets, cleaner blocks and real jobs right here at home. Cindy Wynn building a better east, starting with us in the lower ninth ward, paid for by the committee to elect Cindy Wynn.
Tune in to The Monitor's Mic, where we talk about oversight, policing, and you. Hosted by the Office of Independent Police Monitor, we're here to shine a light on policing issues that matter, from real-time policing updates to in-depth interviews. Every Friday at noon on WBOK.
You've got responsibilities, but that doesn't mean your dreams are on hold. At Southern University at New Orleans, our evening and weekend college is designed with your life in mind. Finish your degree, start a new one, on your time, your degree, your schedule. No excuses, just opportunity. Visit suno.edu and make your next move today.
Meet Leanna, a part-time chef and full-time mom. In the past, Leanna didn't have health insurance because she didn't think she could afford it. What she didn't realize is she qualified for Medicaid. She loves the coverage and peace of mind that comes with high-quality care. The kind of care you get with Healthy Blue. This is Medicaid, and it's for more people than you think. Maybe even you. To see if you qualify, go to myhealthybluela.com.
Flu cases are at critical levels. I'm Dr. Takesha Charles Davis, President and CEO of New Orleans East Hospital. It is so important that our community gets its flu vaccine. Millions of people are hospitalized every year with flu complications, and thousands of those cases result in death. Flu Ready NOLA urges you to protect yourself and your loved ones by getting your flu shot today. Visit a healthcare provider, pharmacy, or hospital to get your shot and be flu ready, NOLA.
This is Andronika Morris, host of Put Housing First. Join us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock, where we will discuss how housing affects every aspect of our lives and what's necessary, what's needed to guarantee housing for all. Join us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock as we dig down deep onto the issues that affect all of us.
WBOK. Listen now on WBOK1230.com.
Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back to the program here. The attorney extraordinaire. I don't think I did that all day today, did I?
I go without need for introduction.
I need to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, she's the baddest attorney that you could handle.
Well, I appreciate that very much, Jerome.
She is the greatest. Uh-oh. No gloves. You have your gloves. You don't need no gloves. I forget where you from. Ladies and gentlemen,
I'm from
the
that
attorney
night
is in here. Suzette Bagnaris. And John, you are online too.
All right. It's kind of hard coming after Norman Robinson in here and all that. I'm trying to collect my thoughts. But I couldn't collect them too long because I don't know, man. I just feel like, Gerard, shame on you for having this program on Friday. It's Xavier, 100-year anniversary. I'm a millennial. I'm trying to take my mind off the craziness in the East, but I'm a business owner.
Oh, okay.
And listening to that ad where you got the sing-along ad that followed Norman Robinson, it's making me literally lose hope in developing my businesses in the East.
I'm sorry I did that because second part of that you should say is stop blaming that on me because I ain't put it on.
No, I said that sarcastically.
I know.
But we just to be serious, man, we should be electing our best and our brightest.
Right.
And I'm seeing a couple of my friends that are extremely educated brothers. They put in their work. They have a strategic plan, and to be in a state where we about to reelect somebody that didn't do half of this development for economic interest, I don't know what's going on. I'm developing quite considerably in the East. I got a beer company, and I'm bringing all kind of STEM jobs and other festivals, black-owned festivals, to the east.
Yeah.
And we can never get things off the ground. And it's like, I don't know what's wrong.
Well,
with
we're going to have another
population.
talk about it, too, because we get ready to get out of here, man. I ain't mean to depress your weekend.
You'll have to come on and talk about what you're doing, okay? Because we do want to hear about it. But I need everybody to show up on November 15th, because if you don't vote on City Hall, City Hall still will be impacting you. So go vote.
Thank y'all. Sorry about that.
All right, John.
Yep.
All right, that's going to wrap things up for us. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank
All
you
the
for
time.
having me.
No, I love when
appreciate
you're
it.
here because I know everybody calling you trying to get the information.
Well, look.
And you bring it.
We had a good talk. We talked about a lot of good issues, important issues, and I hope that it benefited someone today.
All right, y'all. Have a great weekend. Be careful. Make sure that you go out on November the 15th and vote, y'all. Go vote. All right, Kim Rugon. Dr. Rugon is in the building, y'all.
My bestie. Look at that. I see you.
We'll see y'all next week. Y'all have a great weekend.